mathematical problems. The vocabulary of mathematics is basically numbers and signs. Let me show you how. The mastery of mathematics revolves around this triangle, where at the top apex we have the tables. The tables work on the 10 numbers that we have in mathematics. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are the only numbers that mathematics holds. And the tables are tables of multiplication, tables of addition, tables of subtraction and division. We have so many formula, and formula is like a key. Problems in mathematics, which if you don't have the formula, you cannot solve. Such problems can be like finding areas of circles. And so without a formula, there are problems in maths that you can't do. Then when we come to the computing, that is where the blood life of mathematics is. Because there's no problem in mathematics that will be solved without either adding or subtracting or multiplying or dividing. One may wonder the difference between the tables and the computing science. They are interrelated. First, you must know the tables so that you can know how to compute a problem like, say, 98 times 92. Tables will help you to be an accurate computer. You must be perfect in the tables to be able to compute properly. Mathematics is logic and reason. Easy to play with numbers and signs. Join me, Dr. Omar Kundu, every Saturday at 9:15 a.m. to 10 a.m. Learn, master and enjoy mathematics on West TV.
West TV, tazama ilivyo.
Good morning, dear viewers. I'm so glad to welcome you to this week's The Morning Scoope. On The Morning Scoope this week, we go to tell a story. You see, Kibabi University is a story, a very interesting one. It has had ups and downs, it has had interesting parts, and today is one of those days that we just want to interact with that story in detail, so that you can also be able to just feel it the way I feel it. Every time you look at Kibabi, you are going to, from the outside, just see that's a learning institution and that's it. But then, there is something more to Kibabi, which you are going to understand and you're going to learn. On behalf of the director of the show, Kelvin Kibet, my name is CKS. I want to take this opportunity to just welcome our guest, Professor Ipara Odeo. He'd like to tell us his name. Prof, good morning.
Good morning, Kitui Ohwa Simiti.
Yes. Yeah, you got me very nice names.
Right. Identity is very critical.
Very many people don't get to know how to pronounce son of Ohwa.
Yeah, I know.
So they find it very hard to pronounce it. And thank you for making me feel me.
Right.
How are you?
Fine, and thank you for hosting me.
You're looking well.
Yeah, you have to. It's important.
Yes.
Yeah.
How is Kibabi?
Kibabi, we're doing well. Our programs are going on.
Yes.
We have a big function today, hosting about 500 youth. Yes.
National School what?
National Youth Council.
That's interesting.
Right.
Last week you had games.
Last week we had games for colleges, primary teacher training colleges. Yeah.
You quite a busy. You are involved quite a bit. Eh?
We are, and every Thursday we host sometimes up to about 10 secondary primary schools who come for mentorship.
Whoa, okay. That's nice.
Right.
I want to take this opportunity to give you an opportunity to properly introduce yourself to the viewers. Yeah.
Yeah, my name is Professor Isaac Kipara Odeo, Vice Chancellor and Professor of Kiswahili Education. I've been the Vice Chancellor of Kibabi University for the last 10 years. Before that, I was Principal, and I was also the first coordinator of the Kibabi when it was still a constituent college of Masinde Muliro University of Science and Technology. Yes.
When we begin every time we begin the conversation with a proverb, today is no different. The proverb today is, when the beat of the drum changes, so must step of the dance. Yeah.
Right. My interpretation of that, and that is what I always tell my people, is that it's good to have signposts. And every time you get to a signpost, you stop to reflect over what you've achieved up to that point.
Yeah.
And from that point onwards, you have to change the way you do things. You can't keep on doing things the same way. You have to change, to re-energize yourself, to retool, and to adjust your strategies.
You see, that actually is like, it puts us on the trajectory of today's conversation.
Right.
Over 10 years, from the day you guys received the charter, you've had, I wouldn't want to say torturous, but I would say tortuous journey from 2015 to 2025. In brief, how do you describe that period?
I'll start with the real torture, and that was the period between 2013 and 2015.
Yeah.
As it was like being thrown at the deep end of the swimming pool. So you had to either swim or drown, because within the 3 years, we were supposed to draw our own academic programs, not Masinde Muliro academic programs. And then we needed infrastructure as per Commission for University Education requirements. We also needed academic staff, and not just staff, but staff with PhD, faculty with PhD who can be program leaders or thematic leaders. And you see, all that required human and financial resources, which were limited then. So you can imagine what we went through. But it's good that when Commission for University Education came for the institutional audit, they gave us a clean bill. Okay. We therefore qualified for award of charter. Now, after award of charter, this situation became even more challenging, because that charter can be withdrawn if you don't live up to the expectations. So we had to work day and night to ensure that we do not just remain at the level, but we do better.
Okay.
And that is what we have been doing as I speak now. From the original nine academic programs we had, we now have 67 programs that have been approved, accredited by Commission for University.
67 that's big.
Yeah, from just less than 10 PhDs, we now have more than 100 PhDs.
Whoa. Okay.
From just about 2 professors, now we have more than 10 professors. We had only 2 faculties in 2013, Faculty of Education and Faculty of Science. Now we have up to 7 faculties and schools. The population was 333 students.
2013.
333.
In 2013.
In 2013. Now we are talking about 906.
Whoa, that's a big leap.
Right.
What does that milestone mean to the community?
Now, to both the community of Kibabi University and the larger community in Bungoma and even Kenya, it's an indication that we have become of age. Yeah, we are now a mature institution of learning that can stand.
Yes.
In fact, we are competing with older institutions and acquitting ourselves. As I speak, Kibabi University is ranked number 1 in the results of the public service principles and values of governance that were disseminated yesterday. Out of 508 public institutions, Kibabi University was ranked number 1.
Okay.
So the 10 years makes us feel that we have come of age. It's also a point for us to celebrate our achievements. But what is important is not just celebrating, but using that to reflect on our achievements and what we can do better in the next decade, in the next 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
You see, from inception, there were foundations at which the university was founded on. There was that vision, the vision of the founding fathers, of which you are one of them. As you progress, how much of that have you retained? How much of it has changed? Because dynamics demand change. And sometimes when you begin a journey, you may want to carry one jacket. Along the way, you'll buy a raincoat and a cape and something like that. How much of the founding principles changed up to today?
Our vision was to be a dynamic and global institution of excellence in science, technology, and innovation. And we have lived to that.
Okay.
Right now, we have our staff, as I speak, who are out there in about 4 countries. There's one who is in one of the top artificial intelligence laboratories in Germany for about a year of training. We have our students in Norway, the College of Education in Norway, for student exchange program. 4 of our staff are going to Germany very soon. They're just preparing their traveling documents.
Okay.
We have a member of staff who is on an exchange program, staff exchange program at Makerere University. Another one is at the University of Dodoma. So this gives us that global perspective.
Yes, yes.
We also attract a number of students who come in from Norway, Germany, and some are normally attached to institutions within the county, like the hospital.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have lived to that, and I think we are doing well. If only our resources could be enhanced, then we would achieve even more. But for us, we don't look at that as an impediment.
Okay.
We look at it as an opportunity to devise other revenue streams that can support our vision and mission.
Okay. You talked about, this is a follow-on question to that one. You talked about the institution having just about 12 professors, or over 10 professors. Most research institutions rely heavily on research funding, where professors, for example, if you have a number of professors, some of them will be in class teaching, others will purely be in the field doing research. Among the over 10 professors you have, do you have those purely doing research, or of them are in class?
You know, as a professor, we have a formula for apportioning time.
Okay.
We have time for classwork, we have time for research, we have time for student advisory, and we have time for community service.
Okay.
So the higher you climb, the less the time for classwork is. You spend less in class as a professor. But now at Kibabi University, we have gone round out that by creating what we are calling a research crack team. Now, to be a member of a research crack team, you must have a proven track record in research. And you get a letter of appointment by the Vice Chancellor. So right now we have about 27 members in the research crack team.
Okay.
These are people who can be called upon anytime, even at night, to respond to a research call. So they also form their own small teams, drawing expertise from different backgrounds.
Okay.
So they support each other. Like yesterday, we submitted about 5 proposals to the National Research Fund.
Yes.
From such teams. So where if somebody is an expert in, say, one area, say IT, then they'll get support from somebody in the social sciences. And then another will add strength from maybe statistics and so forth.
Okay.
So that's what we do.
But then it also means you don't have research projects going on, because then at a university level you must be making money from this research. Research is donor funded, and when you don't have projects going on, it means you're not making any income from that area.
As I speak now, we have more than 5 research projects going on.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
and it's just a question of commitment and how you utilize your maximum utilization of time. Yeah, we have a research project on bagasse, development of a technology that can produce briquettes from sugarcane waste, and this will minimize pollution, maximize on carbon control. Then we have a research project on enhancing the teaching of mathematics, and we are carrying out this in the whole region.
Wow.
So there is a lot that's going on. We have consultancy funded by KCB and MasterCard on training micro, small, and medium enterprises, potential owners within this region, to upskill them so that they can access funding and develop these enterprises. So it's just a question of commitment and maximize use of time.
That's interesting. So, in your perspective, from where you sit, how has the university contributed to the education landscape of, number one, Bungoma community and the nation at large?
Now, we have currently, as we speak, we have about 8,900 students on campus, year 1 to 4. But those that have graduated are about 11.
Okay.
So if you put that together, we're talking about close to 20,000.
Yes.
That human resource that the university has produced or is going to produce.
Okay.
And this comes from all regions of the country. Then we, in Bungoma, we have these mentorship programs for secondary schools. They come to the university, or we organize motivators to go and speak
to students.
To them. And this has encouraged students to develop very keen interest on university education. And last year we got about 10 students from one school in Trans Nzoia, Anderson School in Endebess. And they all confess that they chose Kibabi University or worked hard because of a message they got. We are working with the county governments and MPs in the Western region to support needy students. So they give bursaries, and this has enabled quite a number complete their education.
Okay.
As a university, we have an endowment fund of about 10 million to support bright but needy students. So we also, through the program, like the IDRC research project on mentorship of students and teachers in mathematics, we involve a lot of schools and colleges. And this has directly contributed to the improvement in the mean score in mathematics in the region. So these are some of the things that we are doing. Then finally, it may not be possible to gauge the outcome of this directly, but a number of our staff and faculty, including the Vice Chancellor himself, are either chairmen of boards or sit on boards of management.
Okay, various schools.
In various schools and colleges, institutes of science and technology and colleges. Our own member of staff is the chair of the district education, is the county education board. It used to be the district education board. So you can see the kind of influence they can make, and definitely it's positive.
Yes.
Because they have the advantage of education, experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Do you have like one program that defines Kibabi? When you talk about something, it's Kibabi you're talking about. Do you have one flagship program, whether a research program or a faculty or something?
Of course, our niche is information technology, computer science and information technology. And we have produced a number of PhDs in that.
Okay.
In last year's graduation alone, we had 3 women from Kibabi University who graduated with Doctor of Philosophy in information technology and computer science.
Okay.
Then, through this school, school of, we call it SKY, School of Computer and Informatics, we were able to win a research grant of 64 million from the National Research Fund that enabled us establish the Kibabi University information technology hub that even has a data center and conference facility, laboratories and so forth. So our capacity in IT is something that is impeccable and admirable within the country.
That's interesting. As we tell the story of Kibabi, by the way, the viewer, this story will be on our website, West Media website. You can be able to follow it, and whenever you are now on our social media, please share, like, comment. This show is running live on YouTube. Please leave a comment for us, and you can actually leave me a message for Professor. He'll be able to respond. Those who are following us on X at WestTV_Kenya at Mr. Kitui, I'll be glad to use some of your input with the conversation with the Professor. As we tell the story of Kibabi, there is the community at which it's domiciled, that is Bungoma. The heritage of Bungoma as a county, indigenous knowledge of this community. How are you relating, or how are you supporting, or how can we say Kibabi, it's because of Kibabi that this heritage or this cultural activity is in place?
Now, one of the mandates of learning institution in the world today, a learning institution of higher education in the world today is community service. And we take that very seriously. At Kibabi University, we have established a center of languages and cultural studies.
Okay.
And the main objective of this is to try and to document knowledge, indigenous knowledge,
okay.
cultural practices, languages within Bungoma and beyond.
Okay.
Apart from that, we are working with the Kenya National Museums of Kenya.
Yes.
To support Kakapel Cultural Center. In our English and literature programs, we have courses in languages, we have courses in cultural studies for both English and Kiswahili. And students normally have about 2 weeks of field studies. So they visit these cultural centers, like we have the Masinde, the Lija Masinde Shrine.
Yes.
In Maeni,
Kimilili, yes.
Kimilili. We also visit others in other parts of the country. So the idea is to foster this cultural development and to mitigate against the loss of our cultural heritage. Tomorrow, a Kibabi University team is going to Trans Nzoia to donate publications by Ken Walibora. We requested and we were granted a corner in the National Museum, Kitale National Museum,
yes,
for a section in honor of Ken Walibora.
Okay.
His writings and what others have written about his writings, as another way of conserving his thoughts. We have even gone further than that. We advertised for a tutorial fellowship 2 weeks ago in Kiswahili, targeting scholars who will conduct PhD research in the works of Ken Walibora.
Okay.
Just as a way of understanding what he stood for. So we are keen on that. And very, very recent as yesterday, is we submitted about 5 proposals, like I'd say, to the National Research Fund.
Yes, yes.
For a proposal writing competition that was advertised recently in information technology and cultural studies. So how artificial intelligence and cultural studies, how artificial intelligence can be used to conserve or to understand and conserve culture.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are making that contribution. And like I said earlier, and forgive me for bemoaning this point, the problem is funding. I think if we had adequate funding,
yes,
then we'd be able to direct more funds towards this.
Okay.
And this could be felt more on the ground than it is now.
Interesting. You see, there are 3 things that comes up as a follow-up question, 3 follow-up questions to that. The first one is, you just talked about the recognition that Kibabi was number 1, or is number 1 out of 500 institutions in something. Okay. And last week you guys received awards in Nairobi, about some other good performances,
in diversity, inclusivity, awards and recognition.
And then in November last year, your institution was rated number 5,
right,
in Africa, actually,
in Kenya,
and number 46 in Africa.
Yes.
So when this happens, is it Kibabi's story or it is the community story?
Right. And then I think we also need to mention that in the performance contract for 2023-2024, Kibabi University scored 2.6, which is very close to excellent.
Okay.
So we are living up to our dedication to Kibabi as an institution of excellence.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, this is for the community and for the whole country. And each time I've had a chance to speak before the leadership of Bungoma County, I always assure them that we shall never let them down.
Okay.
We shall never be an embarrassment to the public. We strive to do things the right way so that we can bring pride back home.
Okay.
And I think that is what we have done. And I like the support that we get from the leadership in the county and even the country. A number of times I've walked into offices in Nairobi, and the kind of reception I receive is overwhelming. And it's all because you mentioned Kibabi and said, oh, you're that small university that is punching above its weight. You say, no, we're just doing what we're supposed to do.
Okay.
Right.
It's interesting, the description. But then another thing is, you mentioned AI and cultural. You see, indigenous languages in the region, they're all suffering the same problem, because now indigenous languages are losing the indigenousness. When you listen to Aluya speaking, the bulk of the words coming up will be borrowed. We are borrowing heavily from Swahili and English, and then when we document a story for an indigenous story, we want to preserve that language, but then it's very difficult to use the language as is. I'm wondering, what is it that the institution needs to do to at least contribute to the preservation of these languages? For example, you see, I come from the Bukusu community, and the Bukusus, the real Lubukusu is going down. We've borrowed heavily from, it depends from where you are. Guys along River Nzoia are borrowing heavily from Kakamega. Guys along Teso are borrowing heavily from the Teso. The other side are borrowing from Uganda. Sabaots are also contributing to our dialect. The Nandis are now, this makes it very difficult for the real Bukusu to be retained as that. I don't know whether that is part of the conversation you guys are making. And if we have to make content online in Bukusu, which then will be picked by AI, will that be that authentic Bukusu or this improved Bukusu?
Okay. You see, as an applied linguist, we look at that in two dimensions. One is diachronic, that is looking at the historical development of a language. So you can use artificial intelligence to take you back to the original.
Okay.
Then you can use the synchronic dimension, which is looking at the language as it is now. Because language evolves. You can't have a language that stagnates.
It can't be stagnant.
But
definitely.
it's good to document languages at various stages. All we need to do is deep research, serious research in that, different dimensions of language, including the element of language contact. When people live together and different languages come in contact, they tend to influence each other, which can also enable us predict what may happen. Now, I just want to make one statement, that the view by most people that local languages are a detriment to say English or Kiswahili is false. At Kibabi University, we are using Kiswahili to research into local languages.
Okay.
You look at, for example, intonation in the local languages, word formation in local languages, speech variety among different ages and so forth in local languages, using Kiswahili and explaining those technical issues in Kiswahili and documenting that. It's believed that when a child masters their mother tongue, say Lubukusu, then they develop that proficiency to learn other language faster and even better.
Okay.
Yeah. So let us not dismiss these languages. They are critical. They are important for us.
Okay.
Yeah. So we just need to invest more in research and in collecting information about these languages and teaching these languages and teaching the languages the right way, the best way.
Okay. Is it possible the same way you can be a Swahili professor?
Yeah.
Can I be a Bukusu professor? Can I speak Bukusu and teach it and become a professor?
Yes, in Makerere we have PhDs in Luganda. So we have professors of Luganda in Makerere. Yeah, it's a language like any other language. It's just that we don't invest in our languages. But if we invested and we established academies, we established the equivalent of British Council to just develop our languages, like we are doing for Kiswahili, particularly at the East African region, with the establishment of the Kiswahili Commission, then Kiswahili councils in Zanzibar and in Tanzania. Yeah, why not?
So how do we make students in Kibabi take pride in our heritage? What language do we use, as in what message, what narrative do we build to make students in the college take pride in the local heritage?
The trend in the world today is multilingualism.
Okay.
Speaking more than 2 languages. I speak 4 languages, but I can understand many more languages. I can understand Korea, Gikuyu. So we encourage that. And that's why we set up this Center for Languages. We are planning a curriculum in German and French. Right now, there are many employment opportunities in other countries. Let me take Germany for example. But one of the 2 of the requirements are that you must be fluent. You must have some level of fluency or have a working knowledge of German language. Then you must have a international driver's license. So you see, that makes languages very critical. So what we do at Kibabi University, number 1, is during orientation, we assist these students to understand the culture of the institution and the region.
Yes.
Then we organize every year, we have a cultural week.
Okay.
During that cultural week, the students showcase different cultures. Then we invite speakers across the board to speak to them about culture and the importance of culture. We also infuse these elements in our academic, in the courses we teach.
Okay.
The issue of for example, health foods, good foods, healthy foods, cultures, respect, and so forth. We teach this. Then we also encourage them through field studies and attachment and so forth to also embrace other cultures. At this point, I wish to talk about a master's program or master's programs we have that attract students from the East African member states, South Sudan, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, Uganda. When these students come to study for 2 years, one of the programs we are supposed to expose them to is interaction with culture within the region. Yeah, so we arrange visits for them, we arrange meetings with them and the local community. We encourage them to learn the languages of the local community. And we have had very interesting results. One girl from the first cohort eventually got a spouse from Bungoma, and they got from Western region, and they got married. They're now raising a family. So that's culture. Yeah.
You see, many people, when you talk about language, they'll be talking about German, French, Chinese of late. You don't look at Kikuyu, Kisi, Maragoli, Teso as a language they need to take pride in. Why do you think we don't like local dialects?
I think it's a mentality inherited from the colonial government. You know, the colonialists set tribes against each other for no apparent reason. But one of the things that has made my life and work in Kibabi University very easy and enjoyable is the fact that I understand Lubukusu, I speak Ateso, I speak Kiswahili. So I feel very free to interact. And once you interact in a certain medium, you get acceptance very easily. So we should desist from this mentality. All these languages have their role to play. And if we learned more languages, the better. South Africa has 11 national languages, including Kiswahili. Whoa. And you can imagine how much does somebody who speaks, say, 9 out of those languages benefit from. They benefit a lot because they have many now avenues of getting knowledge, information, and so forth. Access, yeah.
We see, Kibabi has contributed to the economic fabric of Bungoma in a big way. We just don't know how big. Are you able to?
We haven't carried out that research. But if, for example, now we have 8,900 students.
It's about 9,000.
And 500 of them spend 100 shillings per day on, say, meals alone.
Okay.
How much is that?
It's huge.
It's about 500,000 in a day. Now, we have 420 staff. If 200 of them spend 200 per day, how much is that? Now, if you multiply that over, say, a month, this is just simple arithmetic. Now, these students don't live on campus. The students that live on campus are just about 2,000. The rest live outside.
Okay.
So they use transport. It's mainly border. How much is that? Then they live in rental premises, including staff. How much is that? Their children go to school
within the community.
They rely on supermarkets and so forth for shopping and so. You see, we have had a huge impact. A number of staff have bought property, bought land and put up homes. Some are now have decided to settle here permanently, including even our own students who find this environment very conducive. It's green almost throughout. There's rain. The weather is nice. So they decide to settle here. We've definitely had a lot of impact. It's only that we haven't documented this, but we may have to do this very soon.
What you talked about 11,000 who have passed through the institution, and they're out there, either deployed, working in Kenya or outside. Do you have like a conversation going on within with the university, the alumni and the college, and do they have a project? Do they, is the conversation structured in a way? Do we have like any project with them, or it's just say hi and that's it?
Yeah, we have 2 units that are charged with handling those matters. One is Office of Career Services.
Okay.
This office has contacts, or has a bank with contacts of our students.
Okay.
Those who are willing to share contacts. And we constantly are in communication with these students. We know them by name and so forth. Then we have the Kibabi University Alumni Association, registered, that meets regularly to play their rightful role in the development of the institution.
Okay.
So this association, for example, has organized a luncheon to raise funds in April.
Oh, this coming April?
Yeah, and the chief guest is an alumni, Dr. Joshua Oigara, the CEO of Stanbic.
Yes.
Yeah, so we are also in constant touch with Dr. Honorable Moses Wetangula, who is also an alumni, and Dr. Desai, our first alumni.
Okay.
So we have contacts, and each time we go out, and like recently when I went to receive the awards on diversity, somebody came from nowhere and told me, I am your alumni.
Okay.
Yeah, so I get his contacts and I share it with the Office of Career Services. So it goes into our bank.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting, because then in most places the alumni have contributed in a specific way, and they have used their exposure to pay back to where they came from. So one would imagine that we should be having one of the tower building by alumni. Oh, that's my wishful thinking.
Of course. Yeah, it's like you are reading my mind. We have space in the middle of our tuition block where we wish to put up an academic tower. But that will take time. You know, some of these institutions like Harvard that have huge endowments from alumni were established in 1700, 1800. We are just 10 years old.
Okay.
So it's good that we have started early. So I'm sure by the time we get there, we should be able to generate enough interest in our alumni to support such programs. But for now, they are supporting the needy students.
Okay.
Every year we set aside about 1 million shillings. It's not enough, but it helps.
We have 2 categories of needy students. That those who are needy and they actually need interventions and support. But then there are those who can actually compete. They may not be needy, but they can actually compete. Do you have like a scholarship that specific programs you may want a specific bride, either needy or otherwise, but can be able to compete for a scholarship, Kibabi University scholarship? Do you have such a program, and if it's there, what is the amount?
No, we don't have a program. We are working on that. But what we do is every year the interest accrued from our fixed deposit account of the 10 million is normally set aside.
Okay.
It's about 800,000. But then the Student Governing Council also set aside from their budget a top-up of about 300,000. That's what we do. But when we started, say in 2015, individual staff were able to support our first class graduates to pursue masters. And I'm happy to report that some of them have gone on to acquire PhDs.
Whoa.
We have about 3 students, our first crop of students, who now have PhDs, and their staff, they are lecturers in the university.
Okay.
And that gives us a real huge sense of pride.
I would like you to talk about partnerships. We'll just come up to the end of the show, but partnerships, the partnerships that shape the way Kibabi is. Would you like to mention them?
Right, we have many partnerships. I think that's where we get a lot of strength. We have a partnership with Texas A&M that started through the efforts of Professor Nafuho, who was working there but has moved on. And we hold regular seminars. They hold seminars and invite our staff and students to participate. Seminars in research and publication that have really helped. We have partnerships with the Inter-University Council of East Africa. That's where we are getting scholarships for these students. And through that, Kibabi University has been challenged to also offer 2 scholarships. One for a student, master's scholarship for a student from South Sudan, and another for a student from DRC Congo. We have partnerships with universities in Pittsburgh University in the US, National College of Education in Norway. We have partnerships with universities in Germany. So we have exchange programs. Then we get support for equipment and other facilities. So that's at that level. But locally, we have partnerships with the county government of Bungoma.
Yes.
That enable us to develop 2 programs. One is Bachelor of Science in Cooperatives and Entrepreneurship. And then Bachelor of Science in Nursing. They also provide the facilities that we use for training our nursing students.
Okay.
And I think our students are some of the best. And when they graduate this year, I'm sure they'll be sought out like hotcakes.
Okay.
So, yeah, you can't survive in the world today without partnerships, collaboration, and linkages.
Okay.
Today we are signing an MOU with National Youth Council to support research and to support nurturing of talent of the youth. Last Tuesday we signed an MOU with Bukura Agricultural College.
Yes.
They have facilities that we can use to train our agriculture students. We can also support them in capacity building.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, in where you see it, what does the next 10 years look like? When you dream, what do you see the next 10 years?
10 years is bright. We have the necessary infrastructure in place. We have some of the best infrastructure, laboratories, classrooms. And I need to mention something that we have been able to deliberately link our architectural designs to local cultural requirements and conservation. Through the first architect, Zebedi Bukania, is known for the curve concept, like you see those traditional huts.
Yes.
So our structures are carved like that. Has given us that distinction of linking, marrying local or indigenous and modern.
Okay.
Then right from the beginning we went out to to plant indigenous trees, indigenous shrubs, and so forth. So these are blended very well. Then of late, we've started recycling the waste material and using them to develop sitting benches for students, outdoor sitting benches. Yeah, as a way of conserving the environment. So we have the infrastructure in place.
Okay.
We have the programs. We have the policies. We have developed our master plan. We have our strategic plan. We have our work plans. Everything now is set. We only and now we've realized we need to do things without over-reliance on the exchequer. So if we can turn around this income bit, then we are set to go. Our research portfolio has grown. Between July and December last year, we attracted 300 million. Wow. It is small when we compare ourselves to big universities, but it is something.
At least it's there.
It is something.
It sets, it sets you on a journey towards making it big. Do we have lectures? I've never had a lecture of late.
No, we have public lectures.
Public lectures by professors.
Yes, and we have Ken Walibora annual public lecture that's coming. I think it's 2 weeks' time.
Okay.
So we have lectures. We invite speakers from outside. Yeah.
Okay. Well, time is up. I wish we had more time just to talk a lot more. There are things which we didn't touch, but it's okay because now this helps us at least interact with the professor, what professor has to say. The rest of this story will be on our website today, so please wait for that link or follow it up, West TV. When you go to West FM website, you'll be able to find it and we'll be able to interact with it on your personal level. I also would like to say thank you for staying with West TV Morning Scoope this week. We've just come to the end. We come back next week with a lot more, and I just want to encourage you to go on our website. Whenever you're there, leave a comment. This show runs live on YouTube. Please leave a comment for me and leave a comment. Just share your thoughts with what you think. On X, @WestTV_Kenya, at Mr. Kitui. Please talk to us. We'll be very happy. On behalf of the director of the show, Kelvin Kibet, my name is Zacchaeus.